Hey, everybody. Hey. This is Sorry I Didn't Come With a Filter podcast. And Vasily's Didn't Come With a Filter YouTube channel. Sorry, I haven't been video clipping myself. I've been doing more just podcasting right now. So, what a weird weekend it was for NFL and NHL. That was especially the NFL. It was a lot of spoilers that I couldn't even predict on that front because, wow, that was just, it was insane. It was just crazy, ridiculous. I hope everybody had a great weekend. I will dive into my mental health area here today. So, let me break it down, the spoilers and upsets and surprises. So, as you know, I went 7-2 on my fantasy, so I'm happy. I'm still banging away on money there. So you had your Thursday nighter, which the Jets lost by 15 over the Colts, 45-30. And then your Sunday games in the NFL was the Patriots beating on the McCaffrey return of, on the Panthers side. That was a surprise to me. The biggest surprise was the Bills versus the Jaguars. The Bills should have had that. That was the Bills' game to take. And they just played terrible. Falcons versus the Saints, that was entertaining. That was a surprise, entertaining game to me. Your other upset and surprise was the Giants beating the Raiders. They beat the Raiders, and that was just a crazy, prediction that I couldn't have even seen. Ravens beat up on the Vikings at the end in overtime, and that was a strong game on both teams' end. I will give it up. The Browns, okay, I did run into a customer who is also a listener of mine, and your Browns won, bro. Bengals lost. It's okay. They're still week 10 now, so I can go 8-2 in my draft. Or in my fantasy, so I'm okay with that. Broncos beat up on the home guys at their home field, the Cowboys, which was just, ridiculous and insane on that front. I can't believe that. That was just, again. One prediction I actually got right was the Dolphins versus the Texans. And I had that. I just knew it. It was just going to happen in Dolphins. The Chargers beat on the Eagles, which I kind of had a funny feeling it was going to happen. And the Packers, this was a really strange game because, again, it wasn't a high-scoring game. The Chiefs aren't looking like they used to. So the Packers did walk away with a loss. Chiefs won, so that keeps the Chiefs' playoffs hopes slightly alive. And, I'm going to go down. Hold on. Arizona versus 49ers. Okay, no Kyler Murray and no DeAndre Hopkins. And they still beat the 49ers. So this team can still win games without those two stars. And that's just insane. It's just ridiculous. The biggest upset, I think, the victory was, the Titans taking on the Rams. But again, the Rams, they from all the highlights I watched, it was just ridiculous. It was a mess of a game, and Titans had everything controlled. So, you got the Monday Nighter. You got Justin Fields' first Monday Nighter game versus the legendary Big Ben Roethlisberger, and they're picking the pit. I'm picking the Bears, just because it's the Bears and it's the Monday Nighter. That's my wrap-up on the NFL. I'll give you a little more on my takes on that after. So, Saturday's games from the NHL was, the Lightning. I knew the Lightning would have beat up on the Senators. That's fine, whatever. So the Hurricanes got their first regulation loss, which means the Panthers are still undefeated, 10-0-1, and yeah, I could not give you a prediction on that, if my life depended on it. Maple Leafs beat up the Bruins. The Red Wings took out the Sabres. The Flyers took out the Capitals. And, the Knights did prevail. Now they're a 500 team. They beat on the poor Montreal Habs there. So, that's not a big surprise. Islanders and the Jets, I'm surprised that was not a high-scoring game at all. That's shocking to me. And the Jets got shut out. So that's, saying something there. Something's a little off. Blue Jackets beat the Avalanche. The Wild beat up on the Penguins. And the Flames earned the 4th season shutout for Markstrom. Whoop-de-ding, Markstrom, you're in Calgary. But we still got a better goalie in Demko, so on you. And the Yotes finally registered a win in 12 games against the lonely Kraken. And the Kraken was not released. The Devils won against the Sharks, so, that's what it is. It's not too much of a surprise on that. It's not even an upset. The upset was Arizona beating the Kraken. That was the upset in my books of the NHL today. The Red Wings beat on the Knights last night. The Blackhawks beat on the Preds. The Ducks took out the Blues. The Wild took out the Islanders, and my Canucks won their last home game last night, 6-3 over the Stars, which I will now dive into. Everybody here in Vancouver has been really, really, really upset with the way they're playing, their playoffs, their hopes of making the playoffs. You guys got to understand, it's 12 games into the season. We still have another 70 games to go. From here on out, Calgary's banking off points, I understand. Canucks should be too. When you lose games by 1 goal, you can't really bank points. And sometimes if they feel like there's a problem looming, I believe the Canucks should push to the overtime situation, which would be a strong candidate for whatever it is. I just can't tell you what it is. To that front, they just, their power play scored twice, which was I missed actually the first goal for the Canucks, the power play goal, because I got home. It was 5 seconds into it, and Miller lights one off, which was a good shot, and it was freaking hilarious. And then Petey, I keep watching the replay of this game. I keep watching it. I think his puck didn't even hit the net, but it did. And, how fast that, Hordubin couldn't even do anything because he was frozen. And Garland's pass to Podolzik was a freaking masterpiece. That was just sick. And Bo Horvat picking up on the other game, or on Pearson's shot, that was awesome. But the funniest finish to me, Brock Besser did miss the open net, hit the post, but got the puck off the goal line, the red line, behind near the net, and gets it in. It was a fantastic game. I loved it. It was awesome. So tonight's predictions: Sabres versus the Capitals. I'm gonna have to say the Caps because I love Ovechkin. Sorry. Panthers are gonna beat on the freaking Rangers because now they're at home. And then you got the Leafs and Kings. The Leafs are at home, but again, I'm going to go with my gut, and I'm going to say the Kings somehow pull out a victory. So that's my picks for tonight. Welcome back, Pascal Siakam, to the Toronto Raptors. He did well yesterday, even though it was a losing cause and a losing effort. It was still a great game last night. For his return, I am going to go, Brooklyn Nets brought it like they always do. KD does, but KD does, and that's how he is. A lot of people are talking about the Lakers, what the Lakers can do. The Lakers can't do much right now. It's just they got to start figuring out how to play together as a team. You got, the Bucks are kind of suffering right now. They're 4-6. Milwaukee will pick it up. I can tell you that right now. They'll pick it up. They'll step it up. Magic game versus the Jazz was an entertaining game as well. The one I felt was really entertaining was the Cavaliers versus the Knicks. Ricky Rubio with 47 points, finishing it off with his three-pointer, like one of his many three-pointers of the game. It was just beautiful. It was absolutely, fantastic to see Ricky Rubio still putting up his points. All right, so let's go into the UFC. Oh, man, the UFC, that was entertaining. That was fun. So the early premier card, like the undercard of the entire event, Chris Barnett versus his guy, and I swear, I am not going to go and watch this. It's either on Instagram, YouTube, anything. Go and watch this guy. He came out dancing like a machine, went in there. How he ended the fight, I swear this guy has to be like almost 400 pounds. Does a spinning wheel kick, smacks the dude in the face, and then just punches the guy. And then after he wins, he does a backflip, lands on his ass, and he's like dancing around. I'm like, this is insane. This is awesome. I love it. It's fantastic. But again, the undercard was really, really good. And then you go into the pre-card before the main card. And I was cheering on the Greek guy so hard, but the Greek guy lost. And that wasn't such a, that knee shot that he took from the Brazilian was just a brutal, brutal shot. So my buddy texted me and he wanted me to do my picks. So for the main card, I was right. Justin won his fight against Chandler. Shane won against Billy. We both were wrong on Vieira and Edgar, wow, he sent me a pic on Instagram, and wow, that was a really messed up pic. Rose, I knew she was going to be Zhang. And Usman, again, Usman does what Usman does, and he beat Colby Covington. But I will give it up for Colby Covington. He was a man. He was a true fighter. He brought down his ego of sorts, and he, shook his hands with him and said, great fight. And that shows you sportsmanship. That shows this guy actually has come around and has started realizing the errors of sometimes just going too over it with things. So MSG, again, was a big sellout for UFC. Great card. My takeaways were like Usman and Covington. That's my biggest from the main card. My other one was, the premier, the Greek versus the Brazilian, the flying knee and the punches. That was just ridiculous. And then the undercard, the early card, Barnett versus his opponent. That was just ridiculous. Those are my takes from the UFC event from this past weekend. It was awesome. I did enjoy it. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I was watching it as much as I could. So, all right. So it looks like everybody's pretty much, from what I can tell, from all the, from Blanchard Report to, other podcasts and that, I haven't really listened to too many, but again, it looks like everybody's picking Adam Page to win the World Heavyweight Championship at Full Gear this weekend. Britt Baker to retain. I picked Conte. Bryan Danielson is going to beat Miro. He's going to go over. The Inner Circle is going to be the top stable that's going to beat, Men of the Year and America Top Team. The Lucha Brothers are going to go over on FTR for the tag titles. They're saying MJF over Darby Allin. I'm still feeling Darby Allin's going to beat him. CM Punk versus Eddie. It's going to be CM Punk. I really wished Eddie would win it, but it's CM Punk. It's how it works. And Cage and Jurassic Express over the Super Click. So that's how that is all going to pretty much stack up, and that's pretty much what I'm picking, and a lot of others are picking right now. So it's not such a bad thing. It is pretty good. I'm going to just say that as to what I'm looking at. From the NFL side of things, though, when I was watching it, it wasn't such... It was a lot of surprises. I was watching NFL Network. I was flipping between all the stations. That's ridiculous. So, okay, we got the Thursday nighter coming up as well this week. My prediction, Baltimore versus Dolphins. I would have to say, sorry to the Dolphin fans, but this is what it has. This is what it's going to be. It's going to be the Ravens going to just run roughshod on you. It is hard. It's hard not to go against the Ravens. You got Lamar Jackson. You got Bell there. You got Andrews. You got so many offensive weapons that it's kind of hard not to, I can't even list how many more they got. It's really hard to pick. But my fantasy looks like it's going to be a pretty good one because I got the Buccaneers versus the Washington team. You got the Saints versus the Titans. I'm really thinking that it's going to be an interesting game. Falcons versus the Cowboys is going to be one. As I say later this week, I will do my predictions, but I'm just going to give you a rough shot of what is going to happen, what Sunday has in store. You got the Browns versus the Patriots. Okay, two teams coming off last Sunday's big victories over two teams that should be, in the playoffs or in contention of making the playoffs, in the Panthers and the Bengals. So, you got two teams riling off victories. So who's ever going to go 5-5 and be a 500 team it's up in the air. You got the Bills, who are really coming off a very difficult loss to the Jacksonville Jaguars, facing the Jets with Mike White. I think Mike White. I'm not 100%. I think somebody said, I was listening to something, he's injured or something, or he got an injury. But I see the Jaguars are going to be going up against the Colts. They're coming off a victory, their second victory of the season. That's Urban Meyer's second victory of the year. Again, it's what I can't even, I'm not going to do my predictions. You got the line. The only prediction I'm going to give you right now out of all this is going to be the Steelers beating the snot out of the Lions. They're going to go 0-9. Vikings and Chargers is probably going to be a very good tilt. Now, the Panthers versus the Cardinals, this is interesting to me because it could go... McCaffrey is back, but again, he didn't do so much this past Sunday. With that being said and taken, if the Cardinals don't have Hopkins and Murray in, it could be a Panthers victory, but they are heavily favored to win because they're at home. You got the Broncos versus the Eagles. The Broncos did come off they came up against a very good Dallas team on Sunday. Didn't show up though. They just did not show up. Period. That was just despicable on the Cowboys front. That was just horrible football. And, the Eagles tried against their opponent last weekend. So, it's going to be hard to not pick. Apparently, Rodgers is going to be playing next weekend, apparently. So the Seahawk fans, 12-man nation, it looks like it's going to be a grim reality hitting you. Even though Russell Wilson has recovered and he has the pin out of his thumb, so you never know. It could be an old-fashioned gunslinging show. And then you got your Sunday nighter with the Chiefs and the Raiders. That one to me is going to be a difficult one. I would love to say my Chiefs, but I think Raiders are going to they're in Vegas, so you can't bet against the house. That's the problem with that. You got the Rams on the Monday nighter and the 49ers. The Rams are going to look like a team that wants some redemption. So from week 9, going back to look at it right now, okay, you're going to see the Bills are going to be desperate to win again and just fly up that standings. You know, just because they got beat and it wasn't even a high score, but it was still a disappointing, game. Cowboys, same thing, being held very, very low on the record of yardage and passing yards and that against the Broncos. That's going to be another one that you're going to see a team very desperate to win some more games. And I think the Rams are going to be another team that are going to just push the envelope just because it is they got just humiliated. They got ran over. So it looks like next weekend is going to be an intense weekend. Just a very intense weekend of teams battling because you got now like less than 7 weeks to go let's see, week 18. Okay, so you got less than 8 weeks left of the season. And you're playing on your week 8. So it looks like it could go either way on that front. In the NFL terms, it's going to be a very tough one. It is going to be very, 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 very intense situations with certain teams that are, fighting for a playoff spot, especially when it comes down to your, let's see, the Bills, the Panthers. I don't know if the Seahawks could possibly make the playoffs because they're 3-5 and it's really looking like it's too hard for them to go any further. And same as the 49ers, I'm pretty sure they're out. I can even look it up right now and tell you that this is not a great way. So yeah, to go off what I was just saying there, you got the Patriots and the Bills in the AFC East, and they look like they're going to be contenders on that front. You're going to make it. The AFC West, it is pretty much a tightly contested search. There's no real clear front runner to make the playoffs, as I can see. Because you got the Chargers, who are 5-3, Raiders 5-3, Chiefs 5-4, and Broncos 5-4. So the AFC West is really wide open front. So to really bang off anything that could possibly be banged off right now is just a little out there. But if you go over to the AFC North, you got the Ravens, who are ahead at 6-2, Steelers 4-3, Browns at 5-4, and Bengals at 5-4. Give or take the Monday nighter, the Pittsburgh Steelers are playing the Monday nighter tonight, and then they're playing a Sunday game against the Lions. So, okay, give or take, the Lions game is going to be a given to them. They're going to win that one. Between them and the Bears is going to be a hard one because the Bears have a bye week and a few other teams. You go to AFC South, you got the Titans, the Colts, Jaguars, and, Texans and the Jaguars are out. Colts can make the playoffs. Titans are making the playoffs, it looks like. And there's your thing. So the only one that's really wide open is the AFC West. If you go over the NFC East, you got the Cowboys 6-2, so they're going to be making the playoffs. With possibly the Eagles joining them in that front, because the Giants and the Washington team are out. I can clearly tell you that. The NFC West is a very, very easy to say. You got the Cardinals, the Rams making the playoffs. The Seahawks and the Niners are done. They're just pretty much done. They're just going to be going for draft picks. And they're going over for the first, in the first rounds. The NFC North for the second spot is going to be very contested between the Bears and the Vikings, because the Packers are 7-2 and they're going to be advancing. And then you got the NFC South with Buccaneers, Saints, and Falcons and Panthers. You got the Buccaneers 6-2 and they win against the Washington team next Sunday, they're clearly in the playoffs. Saints, Falcons, and Panthers are going to be trying to scrap it out for that second spot for the playoffs. It's going to be really interesting on what people are going to do when it comes to that aspect. But I'm going to drop my sports for a bit here. Covered my pro wrestling tonight. WWE Monday Night Raw is on. I really could care less about WWE right now. They dropped the ball on several superstars that they've released. Keith Lee, Killer Cross. Those two are my big standouts. And then you got Mia Yim and Amber Rose. Those two were very good standout female competitors that could help develop that company. But again, it's shit. So that's my front to that end. And it just sucks to me no matter what I do. I can't cheer on a company that's way full of crap. But I am going to start watching more AEW because AEW is more talented oriented and more entertaining on that front. So let's whip it up. Mental health. Yes, my mental health, it's a roller coaster right now. I can't even give you a percentage right now. I am trying to reevaluate where I stand with a lot of people, where I stand with my life, where I stand overall in the world. It sucks being this way just due to the fact that it messes me up with friendships and relationships and whatever else. I hope I'm changing a course. I am working out a lot more. I drink a lot more water than usual. I'm just not going to push boundaries. I'm just going to try to leave people alone. I'm done, basically, with a lot of things. When I said something about friend zone, I noticed something about myself. I am not a guy who will ever be in a relationship. I am destined to be the single fucker that my friends all know that I will be. Whether I change my look, my appearance, and my overall health, it's a difficult situation. Being 34, close to 35 coming up next year, I'm basically what you would call the last stand of having somebody to be spawn off a grandson here, a nephew or some sort, and it's just not going to work. I'm destined. I think I screwed up completely with a friend, even though I know they're busy all the time and stuff, but I think I really screwed this one up this time because, I have become such an idiot most of the time. My life has become such a recluse. I'm just really messed up in the way my mind is set in such a way that I can't get away from it. And it sucks. It's just one of those dealings that I have here that I can't just walk away from whatever I'm feeling because it just cannot be easy for me. I'd rather to explain this, I'm not going to take the coward's way out of running over and jumping off a bridge or, killing myself. That's the coward's way. I'm not a coward. I'm more suited to, let things play out. And most of the time, I'm very hard on myself. I know that. I fully understand why I'm hard on myself. I don't think a lot of people give me that much credit to things that I should probably not do. And I fully understand that. I'm a recluse. I'm just reckless. I generally don't give a crap what I do. I just don't care. I have that opinion about myself. I put myself into situations sometimes in my own head, brought on by just my own inner demons. When people ask me what kind of demons I have my own. They're not drug or alcohol. They are my own. They're of self-doubt, self-esteem, self-confidence. I do love myself. Don't get me wrong. I do love myself. At the same time, I still hate myself. Like, I have a love-hate relationship just with myself. And it really does suck. It is probably the worst situation I probably put myself into in quite some time. And it's not an enjoyable situation. I understand that, a lot of people are out there wanting to be supportive of me. They want to be there for me. I think I scare them when it comes to my health, my mental health, and my stability, because I can just flip out on anybody and anything in a matter of just seconds. I have very bad tendencies. I don't know whether I am going to keep trying to, end this. It's an uphill battle every day of the week with me, and it really does suck. I don't think my family appreciates that I wake up, looks like everybody says I look like I'm smiling every day. No, I'm not smiling. I'm putting a mask on, a smile. Just, hide whatever pain I'm going through, whatever shit I'm going in my head. My head is just full of self-doubt, self-confidence, like lack of it, and a lack of self-esteem sometimes. I'm not going to continuously be an a-hole all the time, but I hate hurting people that I care about, that I respect. I do hate doing that, and it's one of those emotions that I have to try to keep in check. The assumption part of me is the worst. And that's basically my Monday roundup on my health and mental health. Like, try to take care of yourself. Try to keep positive. It really does break down on a lot of things. What I stay positive is I still got a job. I still work. I'm doing this. I'm very happy doing this. It's, therapeutic for me, really. It feels very weight off my shoulders some days. And I will try to keep putting out content with video. Tonight, I'm going to try, depending on how busy I am tonight and how I feel when I get home, because I got to do my workout. And again, I'm going to give myself some props here. I'm going to give myself some self-love. I'm improving on my push-ups. Trust me, I didn't do many push-ups when I was in high school. The closest I think I got was about 13. So, yeah. And then I went downhill. Now I can do about 40, 50, 60, almost 100 push-ups a day, and that's pretty damn good for me, and I'm really, really happy about that. So again, if you're watching this on YouTube, please hit that like, subscribe, and comment. I appreciate it. I'm close to the 500 mark. I love you guys out there. You guys are awesome. I'm trying my best with the fantasy football. Again, I don't win a lot of big money, but when I do win money, and even though it's scrap change, it's still money. So again, I'm 7-2 in week 9. Let me go for 8-2, and I can be better than most other football teams out there. And a big shout out to my Vancouver Canucks for a fantastic home finishing win last night. That was straight up awesome, especially against the Stars. We don't win against the Stars that often. So hope this momentum builds into their 3-game road trip here this week. And yeah, it was fun. I hope everybody has a great Monday. It is the beginning of a new week, new start, and I still have this in my head. And this is Vasilis with Didn't Come With a Filter YouTube channel, and sorry I didn't come with a filter podcast, and I will talk to you guys all later.